It's a best of 7. It's going to be Lunatic-hai starting off on the defenses. Rogue will have to attack, will have to deal with this Winston constant threat, but are we going to see the Diva come out here again from Rogue, as we did previously?
Most importantly, we're seeing the Genji picked up here for Tviq, so they're running the same strat like you just said against Energy yesterday. We called it patchy at best. Let's see if they're going to change things up. Comes down to Eska though on the right-hand side. I would imagine Reinforce and Tviq are going to have to jump onto the right-hand side to deal with this, but Miro's already in such a good position to actually protect him.
Eska goes very, very low, but it's forced to drop off the edge. He gets taken down early on. That's the main key, I guess, of Lunatic-hai's defense taken out. However, Rouge and Dean fire back. It's AKM to fall, and so does Nox. Wins wants to challenge the high ground here and try and deal with Rouge, but still this Ana is at large and still able to do so much damage. Eventually, Wins is going to have to be desuited and hooked in and taken down here. Tviq also falls off screen to Litajon as well. Nicely done by the Roadhog here for Lunatic-hai, and they will shut down Rogue's attack. The problem is, once you deal with Eska, there's still 5 very competent players to get through on the Korean side.
Exactly. Against lesser teams, when you take down the McCree, the entire team crumbles. But Litajon does so much damage. Miro knows how to position himself so perfectly for not actually dying. And Rouge Hong was actually able to kite Wins around a little bit. But we're going to the second attack. We don't have ultimates just up really anytime soon. We do have Unko, which is going to have his nano boost soon, which he might throw onto Tviq at 80% already. They're going to go for the same strategy, try to take Eska down, but he rolls back to his teammate. AKM's already fallen, and they can't burst this guy down.
The biotic grenade there as well on Eska made it so easy for Rouge to keep him nice and healthy, and now it's just going to be a matter of picking off Rogue as they're in complete and utter disarray. They have been scattered to the 4 wins, and Lunatic-hai have resisted another push. More than that, they have 5 key ultimates. Litajon's whole hog is not far away either.
And speaking of the biotic grenade, it's so hard to hit this one, but Rouge Hong plays it so well that their Winston shield and the defense matrix out of Wins on the Diva did not mitigate it. He was able to get off in time to do it directly on the ground, away from the shield. Eska knew to roll towards his Ana to actually get that extra healing. But coming to this next fight with ultimates, this is where things get deadly. If you nano boost Tviq, we've seen what he's able to do on his Genji. Just whether or not he can get the position, not to mention not get slept dart.
Okay, he's going to actually get the nano boost there as well. He's charged down. Eska finds him as well. The Dragon Blade, no opportunity for that to come out on the side of Tviq there. So Rogue already losing their key damage dealer now, and with Eska pushing forward with a nano boost of his own here, it's going to be very, very surprising if we see Rogue manage to hold on here. Self-destruct coming through, but not going to connect onto anyone. Rouge Hong finds Unko. He does have to trade his life out as a result, but Tviq doesn't have enough time to group up with the rest of his team here. He might try and help out and get 1 kill off the back here. Maybe Lunatic-hai will overextend, but Miro's smarter than that. He jumps on top of the health pack, and Tviq might be in trouble himself. No, he gets the Winston, and they're going to continue trying to push on here, try and use this chaos to their advantage. But see Litajon, he thrives in that environment. Whole hog comes out. He's going to push Rogue back out the front door.
And the focus out of Lunatic-hai is just so spot on, knowing which targets to hit at every single moment of this game. AKM has been forced to switch to the Reaper, actually have a little bit of extra HP, deal with the tanks on the high ground, but Dean, we have to talk about Dean there. The fact that he was waiting by Eska, knowing he was going to be jumped on, and when he saw Tviq dash in, instantly charges him into the wall. Doesn't give him an opportunity at all to make something happen. The sound barrier comes in, which actually allows AKM to get a lot of damage off, not to mention survive that hook in.
Yeah, he's going to have himself a little bit of a death blossom, but Eska goes, well, it's a long walk off a short plank there off the edge of the map. Miro at least finds Unko here and takes the Ana out of the picture, but Rogue might just have the better in this fight. Now Dean's going to get cleaned up. It's going to be Miro jumping up high just to delay, just to get a little bit of damage on this payload. He wants to stay alive so he can stall for longer, and now the Primal Rage is going to help in that regard.
He's on so low HP though, because AKM's able to do so much damage, forcing Toby back with the Death Blossom. He wants to commit everything to take this point, because no, if they can't take it here, they might not be able to take it at all.
The bubble comes up and Litajon can't get any of those shrapnel through it. It is going to be Lunatic-hai forced back here. Rogue have taken their sweet time. Now they need 3 people back on the point, and it will be Lunatic-hai backing off. Rogue have got the payload, but my lord, it took them quite a few pushes here, and they've only got 2 minutes and 55 to get to the next checkpoint.
Even Windstone is self-destruct. Looks like he wants to switch off to maybe Zarya, since you're fighting on equal ground. It's really easy for Zarya to build up some energy, and that's something I want to actually go into when we do see Zarya's picked up here for both teams. We've discussed a lot actually with Tviq about using Flame Strike versus not using Flame Strike, and he actually thinks in his mind that not using Flame Strike is actually the smart thing to do, because you prevent the enemy Zarya from building up constant energy, having that reliable source, which in turn gives him a lot more damage and a lot more ult percent.
It's going to be a Dragon Blade here for Tviq. He's got the nano boost as well. Gets Rouge Hong to start with, and Eska fell somehow off screen. That's clever by Toby to stay away, but unfortunately the rest of Lunatic-hai could be a threat here. Tviq off towards the side, it's going to be AKM to find Toby, and this is a good fight for Rogue. Now they're starting to build up ahead of steam, and some momentum is coming in its own way. Shield on towards Dean, but Tviq waits for it to expire. Then they're going to pick up the Reinhardt and try and chain this one through. Miro has to backtrack very quickly here, but there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide here. Reflection's coming back in, and Miro's going to fall. Looks like Rogue want to keep pushing on towards this one, but no, Tviq going to back away. A couple shurikens towards Rouge Hong, and that'll do.
They've only kept 1 man on the payload, so it actually hasn't even gotten to the checkpoint just yet, which gives Lunatic-hai, if Dean can get in there, a chance to contest this. Finally, 4 people on the payload.
No chance.
Looks like they won't contest it at all. And finally, after such a sluggish, slow start, they built up some steam, they built up some momentum, and AKM again, Death Blossom ready to go. If he gets on that high ground, if we don't see Lunatic-hai contest it, they don't even have a Mei to really kind of wall him off. then this could be really dangerous. This could be Lunatic-hai maybe losing this big fight.
A sound barrier could be crucial here for Rogue now as they press in towards this fight to shrug off a lot of that damage, but a Graviton's not far away here for Miro to stop them in their tracks. In fact, he's got it now. He's going to use it straight away. Delo going to come in from Eska. There's a shield in the way, but will it still be there? No, it's going to be AKM jumping into the back line. 3 kills. Rouge, Hulk, Toby, and Eska all fall, and now AKM's going to make more of it. He's making a mess of this one now, pushing forward. Dictation having to back away. There's a health pack behind him, but it's too risky to path in that direction, and AKM, the last man, essentially standing over this payload, going to move it forward a little bit more.
Problem is, Rogue committed a lot to that fight. You had Uncle who's the nano boost on AKM, so you can get into the backline to pick up the 2 supports in Eska, but they have really nothing else. It comes down to the Earthshatter hitting. Where on the other side, Rouge Hong is going to have his nano boost ready to go. This could be so deadly with the whole hog combo. Rogue has to be prepared for this. They have to control this man. They have to CC him somehow. The nano boost hasn't even come in yet.
Yeah, whole hog coming out maybe a little bit prematurely here, just to back Rogue away, maybe create some space here for Lunatic-hai. Reinforce drops first, hook hits, but no! It's going to be AKM to turn the shotgun blast to the face. Trade 1 for 1 at the moment with the Graviton Surge already being used here for Rogue to very little avail, and they may just want to back away here and wait till everyone is ready to go, but no, Miro overextends. Now Dean comes forward, Shield going to protect him for a small amount, and AKM needs to be careful, waiting again for someone to overextend, but it doesn't seem like Lunatic-hai forthcoming.
Look at this, Unko is just now getting nano boost. Rouge Hong uses in the last fight, and he has it up yet again.
Oh,
the
there
Dead
it is!
Blossom's coming in with the nano boost. Earthshatter comes in across, it doesn't really hit anyone, but the kills are coming! AKM picks up 4 kills! They're looking to push the payload across the line. Is Rogue going to do it?
They've got it, 1 minute 40 left in the time bank there for Rogue. Very slow start for them, but that is a pretty healthy amount to come away with after the map is finished. The fact that they even get it done in itself is a big deal. This is what Energy failed to do. Up against Lunatic-hai, they were held in that second phase before the checkpoint. Rogue pushed through, using momentum to their advantage, making sure they keep Lunatic-hai unseated and unable to regroup.
You know, Mitch, I know we talk about momentum a lot when it comes to esports and to any game, but the momentum for Rogue here was so important for a certain reason. We went back and watched the VODs between them and Lunatic-hai on King's Row, and Lunatic-hai had the engagement they wanted every time. They were the ones forcing the fights, they were the ones engaging, and Rogue were just forced to respawn. And as we saw, they eventually didn't win that entire series or even that map. This time, after they finally take that point, they were the ones getting aggressive. They were the ones forcing the fights time and time again, and didn't allow Lunatic-hai to get set up to kind of get the engagement they wanted. They tried to keep an own advantage, which sometimes didn't work out for them, but even when they did lose the fight, it wouldn't actually be that bad. They didn't lose too many men, and they still had that forward progress going the entire time.
It's also good to see Rogue go back to a bit more of that Genji play as well.
Yeah,
we
love seeing it.
Haven't really seen it from them in a little while. They usually just play Mei actually on the attacking side here. Well, Tviq maybe wasn't the highlighting DPS player in that game. A few of those Dragon Blades were very important, especially the first fight after you take that first point as the attacking team. You know, you can get stuck on that road a little bit, but Tviq was able to open it up very comfortably. Both supports and Eska died to his Dragon Blade.
I think even Nox actually had some relatively good play in there. It's really hard to determine what's a good Lucio play or not, but the sound barriers was able to throw down, and the speed boost to help facilitate AKM to make these big plays, to take down 2 supports in Eska, to get into the back lines and allow him to survive for the most part, a hook coming through. Played really well, and now we need to see if Rogue can do the same on defense. Can they put up a good stalwart defense, or is Lunatic-hai, like we've seen before, able to be able to penetrate?
If Rogue are going to continue on this same trajectory, they probably need to start with 2 or 3 solid holds on the first point. Now, no one's expecting them perhaps to hold it for the entire half, although that would be incredible in itself. They just need to hang on for a couple, get rolling with a little bit of ultimate play, and they can actually get a bit aggressive and force back onto Lunatic-hai after they take the point.
So there's no McCree. So you can see that was Unko sticking really close to this top-hand side, which makes him very susceptible to being killed. AKM, though, already catches that lead on the Tracer, so he stops him from actually going for the flank, which is a good start for them, and it forces Lunatic-hai to wait on a little bit longer, but they're all committing to this right side, which means they're very weak to the left, or they're, I would assume, very weak to the underground. If we do see Lunatic-hai push straight through there into the back side of the point, but they're trying to bully their way. Yeah, they're trying to bully their way through here with the Reinhardt shield. They do have Reaper. They do have the opportunity to burst down enemy shield on the other side, but there's no Reinhardt to be seen. So with AKM constantly spamming away at the shield, it gives the potential for an easy hook to come through and an easy kill.
Shield comes up there, but Dean's able to avoid it with a hook coming in from AKM there, of course. He managed to block that through. Shield timing was good. No, AKM's going to fall back off the edge. There's no hope. There's no survival there. Toby managing to get him boot right on off there. He gets himself 2 kills for the fight. This is big. Eska now, so much freedom on the lower levels. This Rouge Hong picks Tviq out, and this has gone all wrong for Rogue. They put all their eggs in that top basket, Jason, and they are sent skittering off the table when the Lucio comes in with the boots.
Yeah, that's what's kind of going to happen when the Reinhardt shield, I guess, doesn't die quick enough, and more importantly, if you're AKM, just not hitting that hook. If you would have caught Dean out, he probably would have died almost instantly, and then you have the Winston and the Roadhog to be really beefy to deal with the other side. But they're still sticking with their composition. It looks like AKM is going to be switching off the Roadhog to McCree to challenge out against Eska. This is a matchup I've been waiting to see, actually. The 2 McCrees going head-to-head. as we already had Recry up against AKM, and that was a hell of a battle. But Tviq on the Genji, so he's looking to penetrate to the backside. He's looking to take Rouge Hong on 1v1, which is going to be very difficult.
Shadow's going to come in now as well, and Eska has a lot of space at the back. The Reflect just timing out. Perfect timing from Eska, by the way, just to anticipate that. Flash comes in, Nox, no way he's going to get away with that. Very cheeky position to take there, right up in the enemy face, and this is going to be reinforced by the grenade. No healing going to be coming in for him, and look at this, Lunatic-hai breezing straight on through here. Rogue really would have liked to hold them here, Jason. This is one of the best places as a defensive team to set up with this high ground, but Lunatic-hai have already taken that away from them.
Yeah, they'll have a second chance, though. The problem is, like, look, you have Leetation directly above them when they come out. He's only at 80% of his ultimate, which he can still pick up a lot of kills actually towards the back if Unco gets too aggressive, which he's done a lot in the past. We're going to drop straight onto them. Tviq's going to be the focus. He's eventually going to back away, but Eska, he's not being touched. He's not being attacked at all. It gives him so much freedom. And this Dragon Blade onto Miro isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, and that's wasted damage for Tviq there as well, just as Miro gets his Primal Rage, and now he's going to threaten on towards Genji. Tviq, well, trying to stay back and also get some healing from Unco in the meantime, but again, Eska now, Graviton Surge comes in towards him. He's finally focused down. Tviq finds him there with a few shurikens, and Wins takes down Rouge Hong. Now Tviq has a bit of freedom in the backline to do damage here, and it may just be Rogue holding on and starting to solidify here defensively.
And see, this is some insight that we got from Energy after their game against Lunatic-hai yesterday, saying Rouge Hong is so damn hard to kill because Toby babysits him really well. He protects him with the great boops, the perfect timing as well against a Genji, and not to mention the amp healing and the amp speed to help him get away because he likes to swipe back and forth just like Cruz in Reunited. So I don't know if we're going to keep seeing Tviq try to go in towards the backline, but even at that rate, he's trying to focus Eska down, and Eska's been able to win out on the trades.
It's harder for a Tracer to pressure on towards Nano when there's Lucio there as well. Might be a different story with the Genji, maybe some more options, but now Sound Barrier coming out here. We heard the Nano Boost coming out on both sides, if I'm not mistaken. And AKM, nice shots coming in there. The Taijun, Dean falling down, and now Eska to follow here. Rogue getting a good amount of kills over this fight, only leaving the tank and Rouge Hong alive. This should be another wipe, essentially now. Rogue are happy just to elongate it a little bit there. Just draw it out long enough so Lunatic-hai have to spend a couple more seconds getting their troops rallied and ready to go.
They threw every ultimate they had into that fight. I'm not sure why Tviq's actually still this far committed up. He's just going to have to back away, which looks like he'll successfully be able to do. But AKB went for a Deadeye. Didn't connect on anything there. He tried to play on the high ground, which is actually really smart of him. We saw people like Maps doing that from NGA so far in the tournament, but he didn't accomplish too much. But now, what ults do they have to defend with? Maybe the Sound Barrier or not, so they could just survive. But if Tviq can take down Eska already off the bat, and the Graviton Surge comes through, they might not even need any more ultimates.
Litaija needs to get to the back line quickly. Well, Dean's almost beat him there as well. You can see they want to focus on towards Zaya, but Wins is keeping himself shielded up, and the damage is being returned tenfold. Litaija falls. Tviq now finds Rouge Hong caught up in a corner. Biotic Grenade might tickle, but that's about all it's going to do to the Genji. And again, Lunatic-hai are going to have to come back one more time. They still have a appreciable time bank here. 2 minutes to get this next checkpoint is quite a large amount. One mistake for Rogue, and it could be Lunatic-hai barreling towards the end.
It very well could be. Nox, a great Sound Barrier coming in yet again. Even with Tviq getting slept, they still have the damage needed and the survivability to outlast Lunatic-hai.
Miro's so lucky to get out of that alive. I think he had less than 20 HP. But that hook goes on towards Reinforce. He actually seems to avoid most of the damage coming in. You see the Biotic Grenade thrown in. Big Earth Shatter coming out from Reinforce. That's massive. Now Tviq going to get to the backline. Does have his Dragon Blade. The Sound Barrier going to stave off a little bit of that damage. But Rouge Hong fell very early in the fight. Now Tviq still has more work to do because Miro and Dean have been wreaking havoc over on Unco and Wins. But as AKM from the top side, consistent damage coming in from that McCree with a vantage point. Tviq needs to stay alive here. The 1v1 is real. Eska trying to dodge. Shots coming in. He goes down. It's a headshot for Tviq. He gets the shurikens in and he gets it done.
And he's looking for more too. He's looking for Toby. He's looking for this 1v1 as Litaija gets the hook. But he gets fucked up by the payload. Even reflects. I think that was a fire strike in there. And he's going to hold. He gets the reset onto Toby. And Rogue are doing it. A minute left to go here for this point to be taken. Finally, Litaija shuts him down. But this pressure has been applied.
Could be dangerous though to be lacking the Genji right now. Earthshatter's going to come in. Not really connecting onto anyone there. Dean hits a wall. I think he was going for Wins, but it doesn't quite work out. Litaija is low on health. It's a Sound Barrier used by Rogue just to try and stall out so they can stay alive. AKM from above finds Dean as well. We haven't seen much from his perspective this game, but he's been doing some serious work.
Ooh, Eska takes AKM down towards the back, was popping the Deadeye, but Reinforcing Wins. Pair in yet again to pick up more kills as Litaija using that whole hog to keep them off the payload. I think finally Lunatic-hai have done it, but with only 40 seconds to go.
Tviq's going to try and stall out a little bit longer if he possibly can, but again, two big tanks beating down on you. Well, it's not going to be an easy task at all. So, 2 minutes remaining for Lunatic-hai to get towards the end of the map. That's what's at stake here. If they fail to finish, Rogue will win the map, and even as it stands, Rogue are going to have a better time bank, Jason, than Lunatic-hai going into extra time if we need it.
True, and not to mention now Tviq switched to Reaper to deal with Miro, to deal with Litaija, these triple tank setup, but we do see Miro switching back to Zarya, realizing they need that Wombo combo factor to finish off the map, and they have to do it quickly. It's going to be really hard for him to build up an ult in time.
Titan just sitting towards the back. Deadeye coming out here as well. This will force Lunatic-hai away. It'll force them to spend time that they can't really afford to lose. That's really all that's desired from that one from AKM. And also allows Rouge to set up a little bit more and see Lunatic-hai forced to push back into their formation. There's going to be a nano boost here for Rogue, but so is there for Lunatic-hai.
And Dean, he's probably going to be the one to actually receive this one because he has an Earthshatter ready to go. Soundbird already being popped, a little bit preemptive, but it allows Dean to push in aggressively here. The Earthshatter has come in. He's up against Reinforce in this 1v1. He takes him down, and with 3 quick kills coming through for Lunatic-hai, they might be able to finish off the map before overtime.
Dean's a little bit out of a position here, and it has to be very, very careful now. I think Unco will be able to burst him down, but the shield's going to be up here. Rogue are going to be trapped in their own spawn if they're not careful here. Look at Lunatic-hai pushing so far forward. Rogue, to even get outside, they're going to have to do a lot of damage now. Deadeye going to come through here. Trying to look for wins, and he gets him there. Shot comes in. Now as well, you see the body grenade on Reinforce. He's going to have to be very, very careful and sit behind that shield. AKM, the only man to get a kill. He finds Mirror, but it's not going to be enough. Tviq comes in though. Dead Possum gets 1. AKM gets the Deadeye. Tviq with 2. AKM with 1. They're going to be able to hold Lunatic-hai away. One more push for the Koreans to finish the map.
They're going to have a whole hog here at Elite Asia, but that's pretty much it here. The nano boost is coming up relatively soon. And Rogue, what do you have to respond with? Absolutely nothing. We have seen, though, Lunatic-hai fail attacking against Energy just yesterday with 6 ultimates. Rogue are going to have a hard time putting up a good defense here, but with 19 seconds left to go, if they can just hold on here, Lunatic-hai are going to be looking really rough into the second half.
Tviq goes down first. He was the only man with an ultimate. The whole Hulk's going to be out of this fight completely. Now Tviq going to be looking over towards Dean here as he's giving Reinforce a lot of problems. He actually takes him down ultimately. Tviq, he's caught out in the open. It's a dart that goes in towards him and it finds his heart. Rouge picks him up, and now AKM going to be charged up against the wall. It looks like Lunatic-hai found the fight they needed here, and there's going to be enough to get over the line, but no time bank will be remaining here for this side. Reinforce wants to get there, but no. Both teams have finished the map. The difference is Rogue actually have a time bank to play off of here. If they can take the first point, they will win the map. If they don't, we're going to replay the whole thing.
That is true, actually. That is 100% true with the rules for you guys who just joined us and haven't seen any of the matches prior. The system we have is if both teams tie on a map, you replay the entire map from the start. We have that with All Strike versus Stake, where they replayed Hollywood 3 times because teams could just not capture
it 3 times, they replayed it twice.
Yeah, exactly. They played a total of 3, replayed it twice. The pressure's on, though. A minute 40 isn't that much time to capture this first point. It really gives you no room for mistakes.
You get 2 pushes, basically.
You have to wonder, is Rogue going to throw something cheeky in here? I would imagine if you're going to, I mean, you have to feel confident enough. And when we saw their first attack, it wasn't necessarily as convincing as we'd hoped. The D.Va did not really work out with the whole composition. Even though they were able to take Eska down on the first initial fight, the rest of the team was there. Elite Asia on the Roadhog did so much damage. They actually got wiped 2 or 3 times in a row.
You're right. I mean, with Rogue coming out the strategy that they used at the start of the last map, that was not very convincing at all here. I don't think they're going to change it up though, Jason. I don't think their playbook is so deep, filled with so many inch pages that they could actually come up with that. Maybe they could change something small, but ultimately I think their approach is going to have to be the same.
So you're in this situation with no only have a minute and 40 left. Do you wait on the high ground to switch heroes? Or do you commit no matter what?
What
we're seeing
is
AKA,
this?
we're seeing a Bastion. They're going for something here. You have Tviq on the maid to give them a little bit of room on the high ground to maybe wall off so they can get set up, and the surprise Bastion might come out.
Well, it's definitely come out. There's no way of avoiding that one. The wall being used very early here by Rogue. Now, that's to hide the Bastion. This is to let him set up. Now they're going to push in, but a counter ball coming out from Lunatic-hai. Still, AKM's going to try and break through it here, but the fight's going so heavily in fray away at the Koreans, and AKM can't find any damage here. The shield of Dean just planted right in his face, and he can't really get through it.
There's nothing to push onto Biotic Grenade. There's nothing to take Rouge Hong down, who's playing so safe behind his tank lineup, and even though Bastion's just attacking this entire time, he's not going to get a single thing, and Lunatic-hai will repel the first attack. A minute left to go here for Rogue. Tviq switches over to Genji. It looks like they might be dropping this Bastion even though he's at 70%.
Well, that didn't work.
They tried some flashy, I'll give them that.
Yeah, the Mei wall there is always going to be a shutdown. To be fair, smart by Lunatic-hai, because last time they didn't take Mei on this. They did not pick her up last time they defended, but when you want to be more defensive, maybe just try and be prepared for anything. Mei's a great pick there just to help you deal with the unexpected. So, now the switch comes back. We're going to go back to what we saw earlier on. AKM's going to be on that Reaper here. There's 30 seconds to go. One push, and that's all that's going to be remaining.
They're going to have to fight from this main area. There's no way they can contest the high ground. The Blizzard's coming in. It actually doesn't come out of the payload, which is huge. How many people are going to get caught out by this freeze?
Tviq has to back away from it here. I think a lot of Rogue were caught up in that one there as well. Dean's going to find him. 3 kills for Dean, make it 4 over that fight. And this is going to be Rogue sent packing here. There's really no way they can capture this point at all. Litajan finds wins. Picks him up, and Rogue now have no ultimates ready to work with him. Maybe knocks the sound barrier. You know, we're going to see Lunatic-hai probably push out against them now. It's unlikely that they're going to overextend to such a degree to give Rogue this point. So that's going to be it. Rogue unable to take the point, and we are replaying this map, Jason.
Oh, honestly, I couldn't think of two better teams to replay the map actually with how this one went, with Rogue putting up such a good defense on the second phase, with Lunatic-hai doing the same thing towards the end, actually mostly towards the first point actually. This is going to be a long one. This is a best of 7, but it technically can turn to like a best of 13 with the replays that we have on the maps.
Well, I mean, we could go for infinite periods of time here as well. I mean, this is a very fatigue-inducing map as well.
That's true.
The likelihood of us seeing potential mistakes sort of creep into the mix is relatively high.
And typically at high-level play of Overwatch, it's not about necessarily outplaying your team, it's being the team who makes the least mistakes.
Exactly.
That's really important, and that's perfect to pretty much highlight how the story is going to go. This extended series alone, but with the replay factor, who's going to make the least mistakes? Who's going to make the most?
And to be fair, Numbani is one of these maps. Actually, when one hero limit was first introduced into Overwatch, sort of competitively or on a larger scale, I casted a tournament between Reunited and Envious, I think, and they couldn't, like, teams were still learning how to use one hero limit, right? But neither team managed to take the point. We've replayed the map like 3 times before moving on there as well. So it can be a bit tricky, but again, that's the real question. We're going to see anything different here now because the Bastion's already been shown. I don't think that was anything overly premeditated, Jason.
I mean, the thing is, the Bastion wasn't bad. It was the fact that Dean saved his shield. Like, there was no chip to the shield before they actually engage, right? So the shield's at full health, 2,000 HP. And then they trade off. His shield takes a little bit of damage. Then what Maywall comes up, he just swings, lets his shield recharge. And then once the Maywall falls, he puts his shield back up. And they couldn't burst through it because they kept trading, I think, people off who was actually taking the damage from Bastion with the Roadhog and himself. And then from the back line, Rouge Hong's free to heal because no one's diving him. And then they have the Maywall up and ready to go yet again. It's not a bad idea considering you have 1 minute and 40. You didn't show, actually they did show at the very beginning. It didn't work out for them. But I always give credit to teams who throw something out. There's something different out there to catch teams off guard.
I have to wonder if you're Rogue and you do tab after that, 10, 15 seconds, and you can see what the enemy heroes are, and you see the Mei, and you go, maybe we.
Yeah. Do you want to reset? Do you want to repick?
I mean, with only a minute 30 left in time bank, it's probably not really enough time. You probably just need to persist and hope maybe you can get something going. I think IG Fire actually played something similar to that strategy, except they pushed through the underside. And it was AF Blue, sorry. They pushed to the other side, and then they went into the back room just behind the point, and they set up a Reinhardt shield and a Bastion as well. Still didn't really work. It was actually against IG Fire, and Roy on the Genji managed to kill most of those heroes in that point. So, yeah, I mean, Numbani, I think it's honestly one of the most treacherous maps, even at the top level, to break that first point. It is very difficult.
Numbani, what I like is like a Roadhog, like a sneaky Roadhog, where he swings around towards the garden, which is like the left-hand side. Instead of going towards high ground, you go towards the left, and you look for a hook. And obviously the team's going to be able to see that you have a Roadhog there, but that one hook can win you the entire point. And when teams get really stuck on this first point so often, I think it's almost worth the risk to do that, because then you can also use him on the high ground behind a Reinhardt shield to take enemy Reinhardt shield down with his damage that he's able to do to shields. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea, but you also see Rogue's focus on taking the high ground away with the Diva, with the Winston, with the Genji, like we saw in the first attack, and not going for that standard Reinhardt and just kind of push through, kind of bully your way through the high ground.
Well, I mean, we've also seen situations where the Roadhog has sort of worked his way into the low ground, actually straight through the front door and hooked someone down from the high. Or, McCree lobbing up a flashbang. That's what Esker actually did for Lunatic-hai when they attacked. He didn't go the high ground with the rest of his team. Sort of swung himself in as maybe like a secondary line of attack, I suppose you could say, once a lot of those early cooldowns have been burnt. Esker was sort of there to capitalize on that one now. But my understanding is that we do replay the map here. So, I don't really think we see much different at all. I think that the Mei factor is quite interesting now as well, because I don't think Mei's the comfort pick for Lunatic-hai on the map. I think the McCree for Esker is definitely what he'd rather play. But when you know you're going to be in a situation where there could have something very uncertain, or you only have to hold out for a certain amount of time, so every extra second counts, then having Mei there just for the wall factor can be so ridiculously strong when the enemy team don't have a chance or don't have the time to sort of reassess their situation if a wall gets put up or someone gets picked off.
Even the accuracy the guy has, even if you don't have the McCree pick to do the long-range damage, his right clicks, his icicles, if we do see Rogue take the opposing high ground or even coming through main, he's going to hit a majority of those shots. And then you're going to have a Blizzard. And then when you're maybe one of the last people left alive on the point, you can Blizzard it. You can buy so much time for the reinforcements to come because, like you said, you only have to defend for such a small window instead of looking for 4 minutes. I think looking at both teams, there was a couple of key players that's really stood out. Rouge Hong, again, like his Ana, I don't know how he does it. Like, he was able to hit sleep darts on Tviq. He was able to sit so far back and always have perfect positioning. And if I remember correctly, I was told he was actually a McCree main who switched to Ana right when she came out, and he's played a ridiculous amount of hours on Ana, and that's why he's gotten, was it 4,500 on the Korean ladder?
Oh, yeah, more than that. I mean, also interesting to see Dean positioned up on the high ground as well there, just to defend the Ana, of course, and the McCree.
Right.
Interesting to see him charge out there as well and actually get that kill onto Tviq, which is even more ridiculous. So, all right, we're going to be jumping back in just a second here now. Probably shouldn't see anything too different here. Rogue have a chance maybe to flex into some different strategies on the attack if they have them, but I feel like they're the ones who are definitely weaker on that attack in that first point. Lunatic-hai are actually held towards the end. They did finish the map, but it took a long time. Lunatic-hai's first point take was very, very good, and I would hazard to say, if Lunatic-hai had a time bank going into the overtime, they would have won the first map, just with how cleanly they were able to take the first point away.
I think they had more of a possibility than Rogue, definitely. Yeah. So honestly, credit to Rogue to hold in that second phase so long. But now I wonder who's actually attacking and defending first, because I don't know how it works. I don't know if we kind of go back to how it started. Since like Rogue kind of technically won the map, do they get choice of sides coming into it? Or
well, no one won the map. It was 100% a draw. So I think you just replay it from your conditions at the start of the game here. Okay. So yeah, serious faces are on now, and both these two teams have had a little bit of a taste of what it's like to go up against each other on this map now as well. Maybe some ideas of what to expect and opportunities to recraft or sort of adjust your strategies on the fly now as you know what to expect. Not too much fanfare now as we are going to see Rogue push out. Looks like there are. Tviq's got that pumpkin skin. They're going to be playing the D.Va here again. Okay, so they're still going for the high ground control. This is what we saw before. So you're going to have Eska, Miro, and Rouge Hong on the right-hand side, and you're going to see the entirety of Rogue with reinforced wins and Tviq ideally jump towards his direction and try to take Eska down. This time Eska doesn't have the broad grenade there just yet, but reinforces by himself. Whereas the backup wins seem to have gone a different direction. Tviq wasn't there, and there was no follow-up. That had to have been miscommunication. They had to have gotten held up somewhere. Maybe Wins got slept, actually. I don't know what Wins is doing as well. Dean is slept, and Wins is going to take the high ground back. Tviq gets his head taken off. I don't know how the heck that even happened. But Eska managed to find it. However, he's lacking teammates on this point now. He's going to be taking some darts in. There was even a D.Va pushing up towards him. It's going to be AKN to finish off Eska, and Dean forced back. So this is a very disjointed push chasing, but it's actually working out for Rogue. Yeah, I'm not sure even how that happened. It must have been all on AKM because he's at 91% his ultimate. Even Tviq was able to take down Rouge Hong on the Ana. And that's going to be a first attack, first point take. That's strike me pink, they've done it. That was real quick from Rogue, and that's a very big improvement now. It's setting them in good stead to set that time that they're hoping now as well. Bit more time in the bank if it does come to extra time at the end. Lunatic-hai now as well. Pick-wise, no big changes. Miro hasn't switched over yet. They're going to have to play with this comp for one more respawn wave.
And they still don't have Mei. So knowing that they had a little bit more time to work with in terms of defending the first point, they actually still do not opt in for the Mei like we saw. Eska takes out Unko somehow. Did the shield actually get interrupted? I'm not sure exactly. But this is going to be the push. Yeah, they're going to engage off this.
Yeah, we can see now Reinforce having to back away. He wants to charge into his spawn, but it's going to be caught before he can even get there now. This is the time that Lunatic-hai need to be bought from them. Still, none of them actually dying, which is not ideal if you do want to change heroes, but Miro is going to have his primal rage ready to go in the next fight, so maybe he can hold off on the Zarya for a little bit longer.
No ultimate's being committed out of Rogue, though, most importantly, so they still maintain 3. The Soundbear is coming up relatively soon, already at 80% compared to Toby, who's going to have his. So it's going to be really hard for Tviq to take anyone down if he gets nano boosted, so most likely it's going to go over to ACAM with a Death Blossom combo.
Tviq tries to go fairly deep there, gets flashed out, but is able to get in towards that Wraith Walk to back away. Miro getting aggressive, and now, well, guess who's back? It's going to be AKN, gets hooked straight in though. Litasion finds him, even though the nano boost was active on that Reaper, he didn't have a Zarya shield, and he wasn't able to stay alive from that onslaught from the defensive side.
So Nox uses a Sound Barrier, but we're seeing no one actually engage off of this. Instead, they back away. I'm not sure why you would commit such a crucial support ultimate in this situation if you're not really going to fight this one out. That had to have been miscommunication within the side of Rogue, and Lunatic-hai are going to be really happy about that.
It's really messy stuff from Rogue now, after such a clean take as well. Sometimes you just can't have your cake and eat it too, apparently. They've got a couple ultimates to work with here, namely the Death Blossom, and that's only because AKM didn't get to use it last time. There will be another nano boost pretty quickly up, so they can still sort of throw the Reaper into the backline and hope to kill as many people as possible. And now Rogue will come forward. Graviton Surge is going to be available, so Rogue have what they need for this fight now, but again, another Deadeye comes in. No one really actually outside the confines of that shield, so no one getting picked off now. Tviq's going to come in with a Dragon Blade here again. Only Tank's really in his way. He's looking for someone squishy, maybe a support, but now he just has to resign himself to trying to chop Dean up into little pieces. Not an easy thing to do now. He gets himself 2 kills, and Tviq gets nothing with the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, but most importantly, he got the nano boost after his Dragon Blade was already gone. So I'm not sure what that is at all. I hate to say it, but it has to be miscommunication. It has to be something. The fact that Nox used his Sound Barrier when they didn't want to fight, when they were trying to back away, and then Tviq doesn't get the Dragon Blade when he has his ultimate used. I don't know what's going on. But in the meantime, Tviq has switched though to Mei. So he's gotten rid of the Genji, trying to be a little bit more of a frontline tank for the team, but he immediately dies to Eska, just using that fan of the hammer.
Yeah, the flash catches him out there as he came around the wall. There was no way Rogue could actually see what was on the other side of the wall that they themselves put up. Kind of worked against him there. There's no way Windsor's getting out of that one. He's caught up towards the left side, and Rouge Hong does give Unko a parting gift as he flies over the balcony. 2 minutes 50 here for Rogue, and they look like them showing no signs of making actual progress here. There's no ultimates available for them. Lunatic-hai have a bag full.
So AKM switched from Reaper to McCree, and Tviq went from Genji to Mei to Reaper. So we've already talked about how they can switch these two heroes quite often. But is Tviq going to be able to accomplish anything or something that maybe AKM didn't? He's going to have the support of him. The Deadeye is up really soon. And not to mention, Unko loves to nano boost to McCree. He loves to keep AKM with that ultimate. And with a Deadeye behind it, it actually could be really deadly.
This could be dangerous though. Rogue is split up. Deadeye could be quite nasty here, but no, he's not going to catch on anyone's. And Litation actually going a little bit too far. Tviq gets put to sleep there. Whiteley had the nano boost available, so he's not able to have any further impact in this fight. And the sound barrier now over the top. Tviq quickly going to get out there with the Wraith Walk. Wind's getting picked up. And if Eska keeps doing this, he's going to have constant Deadeyes available. But now AKM's turn to step up to the plate and try. Gets absolutely nothing. He strikes out. Litation coming out of spawn there. Obviously, it's a long walk back, but Lunatic-hai been able to reinforce his point. This is going to be maddening for Rogue.
And Tviq's able to finally get a kill here, but he's by himself. The Wraith Form is being used. He's just trying to get that health pack to back away. We'll have Unko off the side to heal him up. But remember, we're at 5.5 minutes for Rogue after that first point was captured, and we're down to 1 minute and 40. This is not looking good for Rogue, but finally they've been able to get some progress. They've been able to finally push this payload further. But not to mention now, Lunatic-hai have the opportunity to set up for this fight any way they want to.
Korean side did this without Xayah, by the way. They played Miro this whole stage, but normally they would have already switched, and it's worked out really well for them. So now Miro's going to take to the skies. God knows where he's going to come back down. Tviq, though, does have himself a Death Blossom. The shield for Dean is very, very low. Although, he does recognize the threat of Miro in the backside, but Tviq can't find him. Miro just always manages to stay out of danger. Litation, though, is going to be knocked down. It's going to be a charge in from Reinforce. Good connection with that one. Now Tviq as well, trying to deal with Miro. Finally manages to catch down the Chinky Monkey. This should be a Death Blossom in a moment if required. Sound Barrier going to keep Rogue nice and healthy as Lunatic-hai also had theirs prior, and here it is. Nano boost for Tviq, but again, the shield's hard to get through. Dean is matching him, juking him as well with the shield turning, and the Deadeye comes out from Eska to find Tviq.
Yeah, Tviq, he didn't have his Wraith Form, so he just committed for some extra damage so AKM could follow up with the kill, and that's going to be Rouge Hong finally going down, but Rogue, after being held for what, almost 4 minutes after that first point, they finally make the progress, they finally punch through, but Miro's position on that Winston was fantastic. He played on the high ground and used his Tesla cannon to hit multiple people from there, where Rogue didn't have the opportunity to actually challenge onto that. They don't have a Genji, they don't have anyone who can get up to that position cleanly.
Rotation up above here as well. Your standard position for, well, the Reaper of Death, essentially. He actually is waiting for Rouge Hong maybe to save up for that nano boost, and they have spotted him out. You've got to be very studiously looking up in that part of the map. Litation doesn't even hit the ground first. He's taken down by AKM. A few shots is all that's required. Miro falls now as the Graviton Surge does tie Lunatic-hai together. It's going to be a nano boost on towards Dean as he charges forward and finds reinforcement. It's only a 1 for 3 trade so far. Eska's trying to make up for this though, but still forced into a tight angle. Now the Deadeye's going to come out, but it's not going to work. AKM finds his head. He doesn't need the Q key to get kills. He just uses mouse 1.
Well, now he's going to have his Deadeye available to actually hold them off, to hold them back in spawn. They only have 2 people on the payload. That's going to be Tviq getting the nano boost. He also has the Death Blossom, but he doesn't need it. He's going to pop it finally in spawn as Litation is finally to come around, just contest the payload. AKM smartly backing away, making sure he can pop his Dead off onto the right targets. No one's contesting the payload. He's not going to hit the shot, but the payload is so close.
Yeah, timing wasn't great there, but it's not going to matter. Toby's going to be taken down in short shrift, and it's 1 minute and 11 seconds in the time bank for Rogue. Not quite as much as they had last time, but God, at least they have a time bank to speak of. That hold on the second point definitely deserves some recognition and maybe some discussion here as well from the side of Lunatic-hai. Really put that together so nicely, but Rogue didn't help themselves there, Jason,
You pointed out the fact that Miro wasn't playing Xayah, right? And I think because the way Lunatic-hai was playing of not having a Reaper get really aggressive, right? Jump in towards the backside and kind of use that shield to the advantage to not be CC'd. They were more about like fighting from the front. Litation was playing the whole the Roadhog initially to hit some hooks, also spammed on Reinforce's shield. Eventually switched over to Reaper, but played a really defensive Reaper, where if any of the tanks pressured their back line, he would stick to them. He wouldn't actually dive in towards the back, which allowed Eska to be the one to kind of snipe the back line of them. You saw Eska multiple times trying to go for Unko over other targets. Take that Ana out when you have the opportunity, and then when he finally sees AKM come out from a different direction, he does switch focus. And Rogue, I mean, we can talk about Lunatic-hai having a good defense, but their attack there was terrible.
The first
it was
point
atrocious.
was great, but the use of ultimates there was...
The sound barrier for no reason when the team was trying to back away, that had to be miscommunication. Then you had Unko nano boost Tviq after the Dragon Blade. I mean, obviously Tviq was switching, but you could have saved the nano boost for a Reaper to push back in, and then Tviq's like, all right, I'll go Mei, and then realizes after that one attack, Mei's not going to work. They switch him to Reaper, and they switch AKM to McCree. I think there had been a lot of confusion within the team.
I mean, the problem is that's a very difficult position to play from because as soon as you walk out of spawn, you're facing the enemy team, right? So you filter out of a corridor, and bam, there they are. It's impossible to properly set up here, get people in the right positions, decide timings on your own back, right? Everyone's going to filter through a very short corridor and face the music pretty much straight away. So difficult for Rogue to sort of put the pieces of the puzzle together in the way they would like them to before they're already set upon by Lunatic-hai. But I can agree with that, Jason. There were some ults frivolously used. It's actually it's a very weird position to play from as an attacking team, and it doesn't happen often. And when it does, it takes a while to get used to. It's going to be Lunatic-hai now on the attacking side, though. Eska on that McCree. Miro and Taijun and Dean will be the tanks here. Rogue, nothing crazy. There's going to be wins on the Zarya here. Now, they got completely run over the top of last time, so we need to see a little bit more from Rogue here if they want to improve.
Yeah, we definitely do, and this is going to be Eska still being relatively a protector. Reinforce getting caught with the shield down, and he might get dashed there, but Tvik, he's trying to occupy the back line, but with Reinforce already dropped, and Eska's getting the kill into Tvik. I don't see Rogue defending this point.
Not at all. The hook from on towards Reinforce pretty much cost him his life there. I'm pretty sure Reinforce might even have charged into that one. I'm not sure either way. When your Reinhardt gets picked up like that, it's very, very hard to keep your shield up against 5 players all shooting at it at the same time. But the fact that the rest of Rogue, their tanks up on that top ledge, weren't able to do enough to keep the attention off Tvik means he's just going to get picked off so easily. Rogue have a chance to reinforce this one, but only just. You can see the point's almost been taken. They need to push aggressively on towards this point. And Eska's just going to step back and have a shooting range all to himself.
Yeah, he's going to build up. Well, I mean, the entire team's going to build up a lot of ult percent if Rogue keeps throwing people in one by one. They didn't even have a Mei, by the way, if I remember correctly. Tvik was not playing her towards the initial defense, which means you didn't have the blue to wall up the enemy team to protect Reinforce. But let's see. They didn't have a good first point defense like we saw prior, but they had a hell of a good second phase.
I mean, relying on things like this is quite tricky though as well. Eska, this is pretty normal. Samsara loves to do this as well from All Strike. This is his favorite route to take now. Because Rogue got wiped on their second attempt at defense here, they're not going to be remotely set up, and this is why the payload's already made its way down the road so much more. Rogue didn't have the option to hold the way Lunatic-hai did because they got wiped right towards the end.
Tvik spotted him out. Okay, so Tvik went on high ground to actually notice him there. He's not able to take the fight because you have Rouge protected, but now Eska's being nano boosted so he can stay alive. He gets himself a double kill. The Earthshatter comes through as well, and Eska's going to go third. Rogue are going to get run over on the second point.
Not good at all for the European side here. Eska bided his time and then, of course, knew that a nano boost would definitely help him get a good Deadeye off. 2 kills from that, higher value than you normally get. And they're going to hit that checkpoint now. There's nothing Rogue can do about it.
And the nano boost is all great just to get him the extra damage, but most importantly, it gives him the damage reduction. So ACAM can't pluck him out of the sky like we've seen him do before. And from that alone, he gets a double. That's insane. That was really well done by Lunatic-hai. Even with Tvik spotting him out, Rouge was able to get that nano boost. And again, Eska's behind the enemy team. He looks for ACAM. He's going to hit the better for him a second time.
Overextension. This is not going to work out at all. You see everyone pushing forward. Eska got the stun towards ACAM immediately, and Reinforce was put to sleep. Now Eska's got the freedom to go into the back line. You know he's going to find Unco now. One more shot will do the job, and Unco trying to stay alive. This is how you look after yourself.
Oh,
no! Unco gets the 1v1. That's big, and that's going to be a big moment for the Frenchman here as Rogue managed to hang on here, albeit by the skin of their teeth, but their payload isn't going anywhere for now.
And Unco is the one to 1v1 him. The rest of Rogue stayed into the front line, trusting him to be able to pull that off. Well done by this man. You know he's sure so happy about that. I can turn around and probably see him smiling from ear to ear. But this is the defense. 5 minutes of time they have to hold on to. They got the Deadeye. They got the Nano Boost. They have the Earth Shatter.
So long.
They have easily the opportunity to pull this one off. But they need to force the fight soon because Miro's going to have his Graviton Surge.
Deadeye coming out here as well. There is a Reaper on the high ground. That's Tviq. He's not going to be put out. Nox, careful. Gets back behind the shield and is about to avoid certain death, though. He really did dice with it. Not going to lie. AKM going for the Deadeye. Finds Taijun there as well. He must have just popped out of Wraith form. But now AKM gets traded out there. The Biotic Grenade and combined with the shot coming in from Zarya is going to be a little bit too much. Counter Earthshatter coming out here from Lunatic-hai now as the fight continues. But Tviq finds Dean before he can actually follow up on his own Earthshatter. It was well placed, but there was no shielding available for the Reinhardt. And that's what Tviq took advantage of. And now he's going to push forward. This might be Lunatic-hai having to take at least one big step back for now.
Yeah, it looks they are just backing away, even though they kind of had a man advantage there, knowing the reinforcements were going to be there momentarily. And honestly, Reinforce, he actually put off a really good Earthshatter there. Just the counter out of Dean was really spot on. It was such a perfect moment for him to stop that one, because the charge into Tviq alone would have been enough to take down 2 or 3 men. But now Rogue, they committed a lot of ultimates into that fight. And they only have, well, they do have the Death Blossom, they do have the Nano Boost, and that could actually, and will be enough to hold this point again.
Tviq's going to save on, he's going to hold on to the Death Blossom now as well for a while, but no, he gets cut down. It's going to be Eska to find it. No, in fact, Rouge finding Tviq there, but Reinforce fell to the Deadeye more importantly there as well, and it's not good for Rogue. Not a good story. Graviton Surge comes in, Wins hoping to do enough damage to make it happen, but AKM misses the flash. He doesn't get it over the shield, so Dean's able to keep his shield up and keep his team protected with the barrage of damage coming in, and that is a very scary position to be in. Reinforce rushing out on towards the point. AKM AKAM needs to try and damage down. He avoids the Graviton Surge coming in, but Unco's not so lucky.
And there's only one person who can test the payload. I think it's actually Nox, who's just been dropped. The payload is still pushing. There's still 3 minutes of time left to go here. There's no one on road to contest it. Lunatic-hai, after finishing overtime the first time, he finished with over 3 minutes to spare on the second. And now this is where things get serious.
Having a 3-minute time bank on Numbani is no joke. That is huge. And you know what? Lunatic-hai don't even need 3 minutes. Both times that they've attacked the point, they've taken it on the very first push. That's not been their problem. That's been Rogue's problem. And that Rogue have only a minute to do it. Unbelievable stuff. And this is maybe what Lunatic-hai are a little bit happy with now. They don't really need this time, but all they need to do is push this to extra time to have that fighting occur over the first point. And Rogue need to come up with something truly special to take this first point away, because what they've been doing right now, it hasn't worked. It's not been compositionally, because you can see Lunatic-hai take the first point easily with pretty much the same comp.
And the thing is, they really wanted to bank on the street phase again, because that's where they put up their good defense the first time.
They couldn't do it.
But Rouge and Eska, the nano boost onto McCree to make sure he can't be bursted down while popping the Deadeye, not to mention to charge it up quicker. Just shut them down. He got 3-4 kills in that fight, and they weren't able to put up a defense at all.
And to be fair, if Rogue wanted to defend on that streets phase, they shouldn't have gone for one more attempt to stop the point being taken. I understand like what's at stake and how important that is, but if you die and then the point's taken that second after, you're not spawning in for 9 seconds. That's 9 seconds where the payload gets to move down, and then even if you do spawn in, you spawn way back. You have to come through.
Yeah, exactly.
Not ideal.
And maybe Rogue. I mean, even the sound barrier at the end out of Nox, the call for it to go with the ground to search and the sound barrier, there was no real follow-up for that one, and you have to wonder if maybe they held on to a little bit longer. But nonetheless,
who let CP in here? He always does that.
I maybe he's doing the observing for us. Who knows? I don't actually know who's observing. But let's see. Rogue going to be on the attack. Sticking with what they know best. Going for the Winston, the Diva, and the Genji yet again. And it's going to be so hard for them to take this right side. Reinforcing going to jump in by himself. The shield actually does block the sleep dart, but he doesn't have any healing at the moment. He's actually being dropped on point.
Yeah, Miro going to get healed up here as well. Rouge sticking with him for the most part. He finds Tviq. Reinforce is going to drop down as well. Miro gets himself 2 kills. Wins. Desuited. Oh, I've seen this before. It's almost like deja vu. Rogue fall on their first attack now. Only one more chance to actually get it done. And then Lunatic-hai will have 3 minutes and 23 seconds just to take the first point. Not a good situation to be in.
I'm still really confused why they're separating the jump in. They're sending Reinforce by himself to deal with the 3 people on the left-hand side with Rouge, with Miro and Eska, and then Wins goes towards the high ground to kind of dislodge Dean, maybe to facilitate AKM and Tviq pushing through AKM and Unco and Nox. But it's just not working. This is 10 seconds left to go. They have to make this attack work. They cannot afford to not take this point.
Eska now just trying to get back behind that shield as well. Flash comes in, he cats out Tviq, but not the shot. The shot is going to be able to find him, and Rouge Hong's going to fall to Unco. AKM comes through. Bit of a drive-by to pick up Eska, and now Tviq's got a bit of room to work, bit of room to breathe, bit of room to pull out the Dragon Blade and go swinging. Hook comes in and he's taken down though. Litasia under pressure, still gets the kill, and then goes for the whole hog. This guy is nuts. But now there's not much he can really do over on towards the point. He's too far away. There's going to be a Primal Rage Winston running at him or jumping at him, trying to shake him off from that high ground. But Lunatic-hai can defend this.
There's no one to contest him. There's no one to actually kill him in this position unless AKM runs up towards the top. So this allows Rouge Hong to heal from the backside. He has none of his ready to go. The point is still being captured, but here's the second fight.
Soundbarrier comes in for Lunatic-hai here as well, and that's going to help them a lot on the retake. Nox is going to fall down here. Litasia drops to the ground. He needs an early hook or a shot on towards AKM, and he finds it. It's going to be Rogue shaking off the point there. They fail to even capture it. And Litasia, the sole man on that Roadhog on the top side, keeping it going and keeping a presence there for Lunatic-hai, even after they got wiped.
If he died, if Tviq didn't get hooked in there, that should have been Rogue's take. But the fact that he does stay alive, the fact that he hits that hook, Reinforce himself can't do anything to this Roadhog, who's just going to get shredded from him. And he just stays there. He stays, he beats that noise, he's become that annoying presence while the rest of the team run back in, and they let the point get captured, what, 2/3 of the way through? But then they collapse. They collapse with everything, and Rogue just got overpowered.
Most importantly, forcing Rogue to fight a battle on 2 fronts there.
Yeah.
When Lunatic-hai were already running back in to reinforce that point, Rogue was still too preoccupied with dealing with this Roadhog up on high. You know, I think AKM invested a Death Blossom there a little bit cheaply because there was also Nano Beast used on him. There weren't really many threats left on the ground at that point. There was still Litasia up high. It was incredible for him to pick off Tviq the way he did.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with Tviq using the Dragon Blade there to kill Litasia, because those kills, knowing that you have no time to work with, right? You have to capture the point. There's no reason to not throw every ultimate into that last attack, to not throw it even haphazardly just to make sure to secure it. It's really hard when you're in overtime and it's taken away, and the longer you're in it, the quicker it dissipates if you fall off the point, to actually coordinate a good attack. But now Rogue, they have to defend for 3 minutes and 23 seconds to throw it into the maximum of another replay of the map.
That's the best they can achieve right now.
That's the best they can hope for.
And again, we've seen Lunatic-hai being just incredibly efficient on their first point takes, and we expect this to be no different, in all honesty. It is going to be a very similar setup as per usual. Miro's going to be up on that Winston again, and Esker on the McCree. Obviously, Rouge doesn't play anything but Anna, and it suits him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's amazing. And his positioning has always been on point. So you can see they're trying to spam the shields down. We do have the Roadhog be Roadhog, but we do have Eska on the McCree. And you can see, actually, Lunatic-hai are really scared to push up because they know they're against a Mei. And if Ding goes a little bit too far, without his teammates there, he's going to get walled off. The rest of the team will get walled off. But actually, the wall comes down immediately. I must have not positioned himself correctly, and now they're not going to have the Mei wall anymore.
It's because they managed to hook in Litation, I think, but still, the wall came up and then was brought down immediately there as well. So obviously, Rogue went happy with it. Esker on towards Reinforce now. Wall's going to come up again for Tviq, but it doesn't matter. He's going to be hooked straight back in. Esker's just going to walk around the side of it. There's enough space for him to get through. And the damage is going to come in from the McCree here. Rogue now up against the wall. This is their last chance to get on towards the point. You can see Nox trying to stall things out, but it's not going to work. The entirety of Lunatic-hai is sitting up on that point, and they're victorious as well. No chance for Rogue to come back for the retake. And map 1 goes to Lunatic-hai.
And dear Lord, Mitch, that was only the first map out of a best of 7. This is going to be an insane series. I hope we have enough Red Bull or whatever, energy drinks, whatever, anything, coffee.
Vitamin drink.
Vitamin drink, it's called here in China, to help us get through this, because this has been insane. Such great play between these both teams, it's like these small little intricacies that you would never really spot or never really expect to happen that have been allowing Lunatic-hai to win most of these fights, and even Rogue, to be fair, on the defending side. Insane. Honestly insane.
But at the end of the day, that first point take, for whatever reason, Lunatic-hai just seem to have that one down. Committed to memory. They've learned it. Whatever it is, they just understand how to navigate that situation so much better than